good day. This is Chuck Cameron at OCTV. The program is My Life. And today I'm sitting with Dave Gerber. Dave, it's great to meet you. Thanks for coming in and talking with me today.
Well, thanks for asking. Okay, cool. Yep. I'm happy.
Good. Dave's may I say, local boy. You've been around here for a while.
26 years, I think.
Close enough. So Dave's a local boy. And today we're going to find out a bit about his life. He's got all kinds of different things that he's done. But we'll start out with the end in mind like we usually do. What are you up to today, Dave? What are you doing today that might be interesting to know about? We'll take a minute on that.
Well, I'm currently working as a chaplain in a continuation of life community called Bellbrook in Rochester Hills. Yep. I work, volunteer as a police chaplain and fire chaplain in Oxford. And I ride my motorcycles to clear my head. Or I say motorcycles, that's wishful thinking, honey, yes. If you're listening.
All of them.
Yeah. All one of them.
All right.
But yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Everything's chaplain.
Yep,
Everything's chaplain.
All right. Sounds like a great now. As we always do, we go drag you back a few decades and talk about the things that help you become the guy you have become today and be part of our community and help folks who clearly might need a hand sometime. So let's take a look at your childhood. Tell us, if you would, about home and about mom and dad. Let's start early.
Gosh, my dad was a physician, OBGYN. He delivered half the babies in the free world. That's what I say. I keep running into people. Bought a house in Oxford, and the person that originally owned the house was my dad delivered their first son.
Excellent.
A waitress here asked me if I knew a George Gerber, and I said, "Oh, that's my dad. Did he deliver your baby?" I said, "No, I worked for his nephews." The owner of Pat's Place, yeah. So I had a lot of ties here. Bill Patterson, who had Patterson's Pharmacy, he used to, he told me he sold drugs to my dad. So I mean, I had more ties here. And then in the 80s, I taught karate downtown. But anyway, my dad was a physician. My mom was a nurse, then stay-at-home mom for a while. And then she went back, got her master's degree in social work and went into doing counseling. My sisters, I had two sisters younger. I'm the oldest. So my one sister was a retired school teacher and psychologist. And my middle sister is, I call her the pretender on the TV show, could do anything. She's an artist, but incredibly talented and very artistic.
Excellent.
Really smart.
So what was it like at home with two sisters? Younger sisters, of course, so you had
that. Yeah, not by much, but 3 years at the youngest.
What was it like at home for you to be the older brother, and what were mom and dad like at home? What was life like at home?
Well, since the statute of limitations hasn't run out on some of that, we're going to, so it was great.
The record will show. The record will show. Dave said it was great.
It was great. Yeah, no, I mean, my dad, my dad was a physician, worked. When he was home, he was home. But I still remember the worst dad joke I ever told, and I didn't know it was a dad joke at the time, but it was New Year's Eve, and he was on call, and back then physicians had to be at the hospital. And so he said to us kids, and I don't remember how old we were, young, but he said, "Okay, I'll see you kids next year." And that meant tomorrow, but we thought next year. So we started crying, and he had to go into the office. And so my mom's just there. I don't remember specifically, but I think she said, I'm going to kill you when you get home.
Something like that.
No, it was good. I mean, my dad provided for all our needs. We never wanted for anything. It was good. Mom was artistic, creative. I mean, it's not without its challenges, and I think although my mom remembered me being a good kid, I just was smarter than most kids, and didn't get caught.
Or at least more clever?
I don't know. I just didn't get caught, so.
What did you learn from Dad?
Oh my gosh, that jumps ahead. So we were raised Catholic, and the one thing anyway, so we always went, and then everybody started dropping off. My mom dropped off, and then my sisters my sister Mary Jo is still a devout Catholic, but I know I left around 16 or 17, and started really thinking about spirituality. But what brought me back to the church was my dad, and it was just the way he lived his life. He was the youngest of 9. He had a twin. He was the youngest of 9, but he was the patriarch of the family after Grandpa died, and took care of everybody.
Yeah.
He just, he made the decision to take his mother, the youngest of 9, to take his mother off of life support. He just was the person everybody called. And he was consistent. He was always consistent, Monday through Sunday. So if I ever wondered if God was real,
right there,
he's real to my dad.
Yeah.
And yeah. By the way, I'm a crybaby. If you don't like crying preachers, then tune into another show, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Morton F., Michigan Outdoors. Yeah, right.
Yeah, pick that one.
Right. What'd you learn from Mom?
Well, my mom and I, we didn't get along for a long time, but shortly after her death, about 6 months, I realized that we were identical.
Yeah.
But she's incredibly creative. So I learned to be creative, to appreciate the beauty of things. She was always inquisitive, always asking things. And so I get a lot of that from her. It's pretty good.
Influential people in your life. When you were young, now we talked about Dad, we talked about Mom, were there other folks, teachers or neighbors or family members who were, I'm sure your sisters inspired you every single day to be a finer human?
Murder's wrong.
Yeah.
Remember that, okay?
Yeah, right. But are there people in your life early on that you can remember that help you either kind of stay on the right course or try to avoid the swamp?
Yeah, childhood, in my neighborhood, we were on Castle Bar in Oakland Valley, north of town. Those were the most memorable neighbors. It was a tight community. My dad was moving in when Crittenton was being built, so the neighborhood we were in, the first one had some doctors and neighbors, and ran into them. But basically friendships, the parents were all good. They all watched out for us. There was a guy, Dwayne Peltier, he sold insurance. He had, kids, but he just taught me, I don't know, man, he was just a unique cat. And every time a commercial came on, he muted it, and he was just very, very real, and just a good guy. All the parents just treated us like, so that was nice, but I don't really have, until I started the martial arts. That's where most of my influential people started being.
Understood.
In the martial arts.
School, grade school, high school. Did you like it?
So I was, school I went, no. I graduated middle of the class with a C average. I managed to get a C average.
A solid C, eh?
Solid C, and managed to get a solid C in 2 years of college. I dropped out.
Yeah.
But I graduated high school in 78, flight school in 88, Bible college in 98, and I got my master's degree in 2008.
Nice sequence, by the way.
Yeah, and I was going to get my DMin in 2008 or 2018, but that's stupid. So I didn't do that.
Well, we're going to take a break for a minute, and we're going to come back and we figure out that next step. Why did you go there? What did you learn? And how did that launch you, to stay with the theme, onto the rest of your life, okay? So don't go away. We'll be back. We hope you stay tuned. Dave's got quite a life ahead of you, so stay tuned. Well, thanks for coming back, and thanks for staying. I appreciate that.
They didn't unlock the door, so I had to.
Excellent. All right. You mentioned that you're going to college. Now, you went through high school, and you got to a college. How did you get to the college you got to?
I went to Ferris State.
Yep.
because they would take a 14 on an ACT with no SAT.
There you go.
So I went for 2 years and I told my dad it was just wasting his money. So, because he was kind enough to pay, I was very blessed to have it, but I was just, I mean, I got one semester, I got 3 D's and an F, and you know, he asked me what happened. I said, Zig Ziglar said it first, but I said, obviously, I spent too much time studying in the other 3 subjects.
You're good.
But I won every tournament that I competed in up there in 2 years.
So you're focused.
Yeah, I was focused on the college karate circuit. That was good.
Right.
I was going to go into law enforcement, but I dropped out in 1980.
Okay.
Ran a karate studio for a little while. And
how'd you get into the martial arts?
Well,
Sorry.
It's hilarious, isn't it?
It's there. I can't turn that off.
It's all right. So there was a show called Kung Fu.
Yes, absolutely.
And
David
So
Carradine.
so I love this, and Kato in the Green Hornet.
Yep.
Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And
amazing.
So I always liked it, you know, imitate it, and then there was a karate studio, a guy named Kerry Roop, Super Kicks, back in the day, and I had an aptitude for it. I like to hit things, and I got very good at hitting things and people. And did okay when they hit me, but
that's a skill.
Yeah, I'd use it. I mean, I took my martial arts, and I was fortunate enough. Met a guy. He was a strength and conditioning coach for the Lions. I traded him martial arts training, and he trained me in weightlifting. And then I started training some of the Lions on how to hit people. I worked with Jason Hansen.
Yeah. Good guy.
Jeff Hardings, who was a lineman, I worked with him. Those 2 I worked with the most. I did some group work, worked with some of their quarterbacks, flexibility and drops and stuff, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and an unexpected benefit to beginning with an interest in just karate.
Yeah.
And martial arts.
Yeah, and it's helped me in other things. But yeah, so martial arts was just because of those things, and the karate studio opened up, so I did that. And you know, that led me down a road. And then I got married and met my wife on a blind date.
Nice.
Met her at a kickboxing show. That's why I mention it.
Yep.
She's everything I'd ever hoped for.
Really?
Oh yeah. I was dreaming of a woman like her ever since well, I mean, my first crush was probably any Catwoman in the Batman TV show.
Yeah, that would work for me.
But those are my first crushes. I met her, competed, and then felt a call in the ministry after we met. But then 13 years later, 12, 13 years, then I went to Bible college.
Got it. So
Colorado Springs.
So you're martial arts, enjoying it.
Yep.
It's enjoying you, apparently.
Yeah.
You meet this amazing woman. Does she have a name?
I don't know. Ruth.
Ruth. See, total recall. You've honed your mind to it.
No, I had to think for a second. What was it? It was
that's Ruth.
like that guy saying he went to a great restaurant. What restaurant is it? He goes, it's flower, smells good, long stem thorns. And I said, Rose? And I said, yeah, Rose. What was the name of that restaurant we went to?
Extra credit.
Yeah.
So what's your bride like? What is
she? She is amazing, truly. She was the, I mean, I say it, now it's going to be forever, but she is the smartest, hardest working, sexiest woman I've ever met.
That's a threefer, by the way.
Yeah, she's a great mom. She's wonderfully skilled at she worked at the district court in the criminal division. She's a great supervisor, great leader, talented. She's great with money. The only reason I have stuff is because she knows how to save money.
That's a gift.
Yeah.
There's several gifts right there.
She said one time, she would always say, oh, you're paying for this one, or whatever. And at one point I said, you always say that. What do you mean? Now, we've been married for a long time.
Sure, right.
She goes, oh, that's your money. And I said, I have money? She goes, yeah.
Aren't you glad you came?
Yeah.
So you got news that you had some money.
Yeah.
That must have felt special.
It yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, right.
She even gave me a motorcycle fund.
That's a lovely
She's a great woman.
Indeed. So did you and this great woman ever end up making a family?
Yeah, we did. We got one daughter. She's 36. She works in the federal court system as an employee, not as a resident.
Just as well.
Yeah. She did good. She's great. She takes after her mom.
Paid better. Did she?
Yeah,
Oh, then you twice.
Yeah, she's really good. Well, I mean, she's going to choose my nursing home, and she told me it was going to be a Lake Superior Ice Flow was the name of the place. They have openings in spring.
It sounds scenic.
Yeah. It's supposed to be beautiful.
A lot of fresh air.
A lot of fresh air.
Fresh air is good.
Yeah, so we had one child, and then when we thought about having the second one, at one point we thought, what, are we crazy? You know?
Well, the answer might be yes, but...
No, it was yes, but we just have one child.
One's a perfect number for the two of you.
It seems to work out okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
all right.
that's good.
Military, did you get into the service at all?
Yeah, I was married for 3 years and had an overwhelming fit of compassion. There's a guy that my MIA, KIA bracelet, my recruiter gave me. His name was James Durbin Carter. He was
good name.
Out in Clarkston, and he died in an aviation accident in Vietnam. And I realized that was the name of the guy, but I had enjoyed the benefits of my freedom to an excess, and so I felt like I owed it to him, my country. So I served. I went to Army Aviation, but I was married for 3 years. So flight school was a year, so I was away from my wife for 9 months. So she said, yes, that'd be great if you could go away for 9 months. Then she moved down there. My wife has followed me everywhere. She followed me to flight school, Bible college, all my jobs. We moved 18 times in the first 18 years of marriage.
Blessed art thou.
We moved 5 times in 4 months in 3 states while she was pregnant.
I have nothing to add.
Yeah, wow. It's pretty brutal.
Yes, indeed.
She's good people.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, martial arts for 11 years, or military for 11 years. I was in the Michigan. I was in the Indiana National Guard, Michigan National Guard, Colorado National Guard, and New York National Guard. Colorado was great. Michigan's where I feel like.
Did you fly?
Yeah, I was the pilot, aviator.
That must be an amazing rush the first time you get up in something with a lot of power that is...
I mean, it was a Huey, so there's things with more power, but we were it at the time, except for the Chinook, which I won't tell you the nickname.
I won't ask.
But imagine going 100 miles an hour, 5 feet off the deck with the trees just inches off your rotor blades.
Right.
It's a pretty good feeling.
Rock on.
Flying in the mountains, Colorado.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. That was awesome. Flying with the Eagles.
Did you ever get to go across the big water and do some service?
No, I never did. We were undeployable at the time. We were going through modified table of organization and equipment, so we were changing.
Got it.
And so we were non-deployable. But I did fly over Lake Superior and the Straits.
So that's in the north part of Lake Superior is in a completely foreign country.
It is.
See?
Well, we just went. It was a long story. It just went.
I'm sure it was.
Just went across it, not very far, maybe a mile. Straits of Mackinac on that.
It wasn't like the U.S. Air Force guys flying over Cambodia by accident, sort of.
No, it's all deliberate.
Yep. Do you still fly?
No.
No.
Motorcycles.
No,
same immediacy.
Well, you're flying at a lower altitude.
Just all the same feeling.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I think.
Feeling.
Yeah.
It's good.
Do you have, but no rockets on the bike, right?
No.
Okay.
That you know of.
I'm unaware of anything.
Yeah.
We won't ask David more questions about the.
If I told you, we'd have to end before the last segment.
Yeah, right. That's good. Okay, so you like to travel. You like being in the air. You have an amazing wife. You did martial arts, which is very active guy stuff. Okay, all that stuff. How did those things? Multiple question here. Help you to become the guy you are today? And you can answer anything you want to.
Yeah. Made a lot of mistakes doing all of it.
Yep.
So even though I don't come off as very humble, I know exactly who I am.
Yep.
I know what I've done. I know the mistakes I've made. So while I'm a fairly confident guy, I got an edge. I can offend people. There's probably people watching here that I've offended.
I'm very sensitive myself, so be careful.
But I mean, it's coming. But most of it's just learned a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
A lot of hard lessons, and they stuck with me.
Are you better than you were?
Yeah, I'm way better than I was.
Will you be better yet in the future?
If I live that long, yes.
You'll live till you die.
That's a fact.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's do this. Great second section. I appreciate that. We're going to come back and we're going to talk a little more about more recent part of who you are and what you've been doing.
Okay.
It's another transition in your life, and I think it'll be interesting for me, and I think it'll be interesting for you. So stay tuned. Well, thanks for staying tuned. And you're still here.
Again, you haven't unlocked the door. As soon as that's open.
We're blessed. Okay. You mentioned something earlier that I wanted to figure out where it fits into who you are and what you've done. You said something about going to Bible college, which doesn't seem to my small brain a logical trajectory from I don't go to college well, but I can do kung fu, and I like motorcycles, and I like flying helicopters. What happened to get you along that path? Because I think it's a grand path. I just don't know how you got there.
So, when I got married, about 3 days after I was married, I told my wife I think I was called into the ministry, which was not fun for her because she didn't want to wear a gingham dress, have big hair, and play the tambourine.
The bonnet?
She didn't want any of that.
No.
So we talked to one of the pastors. He said, if you can serve God in any other way and be happy, don't go into the ministry. So I tried for 12 years, 13 years to serve God any other way and be happy, and I wasn't. But then I didn't want to go finish my degree and then go to Bible college and then go to seminary or whatever. I didn't want to do that.
It's a lot of
Too much school. So the pastor of the church I was going at told me about Nazarene Bible College. It was built with people like me in their mid-30s, married, kids, second career. So we packed up with $1.01 in our account. Moved out to Bible college with no job, no place to live. Found an apartment, found a job, started in school.
Where is the school?
It was in Colorado Springs. It's now all online. So it was beautiful. It was a great time, amazing time, formative, great instructors. But it was just a sense of a calling for 12 or 13 years that I couldn't shake. And I was doing youth pastor work. I was doing things like that. Farthest thing from my mind until December 26th, I think, of 1994. Just had a crisis moment, called the college the next day. They happened to be open. And the rest is history.
Got it.
I'm better today than I was yesterday, just by a little bit.
That's kind of what counts.
Yesterday I was worse than I was the day before.
The record will show that, right? All right.
Doing better today.
So then did this result in you becoming a certified chaplain, or what?
No, this was I was a pastor.
Okay, pastor.
I went from Colorado Springs out here in Oxford.
Yep.
Was going to plant a church. I was horrible at that. Then I went out to Ortonville, pastored a church called Lake Louise.
Okay.
That's where I met just a lot of people. Everything really started here. Was at Pat's Place, which is a restaurant. Pat Ficina used to run this restaurant. I'd go in there and breakfast or coffee almost every day. And met the police chief. He said they needed a chaplain because the chaplain, Steve Porter, who's now deceased, but a great guy, he was doing dispatch. So we would talk, and I started riding along. And
nice.
through some tough times in Oxford. Yeah, but I've been doing that for about 25, 26 years maybe.
Guessing you have a lot of stories, most of which you might not be able to tell if you could.
Yeah, I think I could tell them, but it wouldn't be wise.
Yep.
But they're good. I mean, it's just good people. And yeah, people are people.
Now, in a world where religious people can, in some quarters, be put off to the side as sort of naive and little odd ducks and relatively harmless, but not to be taken seriously. How do you function in that world?
Well, one of the people here that is just really good to me is Bob Holt. He used to pastor Christ the King, now Lake Point.
Okay, yeah.
Jesse is a good friend and been a good guy. Matt Schuler too. We bonded over the last couple of years. But Bob just, I don't know, he just trusted me. But I am going to be me. Mm-hmm. And I am me. And I don't put on airs. All I care about is loving people. Mm-hmm. So I'm not religious in that sense. Mm-hmm. A lot of people will say to me, I thought you said you were a pastor. I thought you said you were a chaplain. But I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've done. I'm going to sit with you. Yeah. I'm going to love you. So I even forgot the question. But no, so I'm genuine, I'm real, I look at the situations, I dress them that way. I don't use a lot of God talk. Mm-hmm. I'm just, I guess, genuine is what I hear.
It's a good word to hear.
So, yeah, I don't live in the pie in the sky, never have. So I had a guy who's taken care of. And every time I come in, I'd say, hey, Bob, how are you? And he goes, fine. Who are you? I said, I'm Dave. He goes, what do you do? I said, I'm a chaplain. And then he'd pretend to go to sleep. He had a little bit of dementia, so I'd go in and check on him. He was right by my office, and he was having kind of a tough time, a lot of family. Yep. But I was talking to his daughter-in-law, and every day his daughter-in-law would come in and hold his hand, and she'd pray silently. Mm-hmm. And because, as they said, he had an interesting relationship with God. And every day she'd pray silent. She said, I think I told this one time before, she started praying out loud, and he shook, and he pulled his hand away. And so she just went back to praying silently. And I said, that's what it is that you represent God. In that time, you represent Jesus, and you were rejected by him, but you didn't leave him. Mm-hmm. And that's the work I do. I don't care how mad you are at God. I don't care what you do. I'm gonna represent that trusting, reassuring presence that God is there.
Excellent.
So.
Well, we appreciate, A, the fact that you came into the studio, because I'd be talking to the air. B, that you're in town and working with people who seem to appreciate what you got to give. That's a blessing.
That's kind. Thank you.
And see what you will do for people we'll never meet.
Yeah.
We appreciate all those things.
Thanks.
So thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
So for Dave Gerber, this is Chuck Cameron saying, we hope this has been a good day on my life to get to know Dave's life. Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We'll, until next time, OCTV says, we hope you have a good life.